guys, it's Kevin again, and in this video we're going to be reviewing to Ravenswood Season 1, Episode 2, Death and the Maiden. This show is just getting just so much interesting as it goes along. I think this episode we really found out a lot more about what's going on here, what this show is going to be like, and a very big twist. And what I'm loving about is that it's so much different from Pretty Little Liars, and that's one of the things I love. So basically, we find out right away that everyone survived the car accident last week except for Miranda. The four others, who were in the car, Miranda, with Miranda, Caleb, Luke, Olivia, and Remy, they basically got a front row seat to her death scene, and basically what we're pretty sure is an unrealistic portrayal of how, hospitals are actually designed and things like that. What happened to cause the accident? This seems to be the question that everyone is asking. So all we know is that Miranda saw a woman in black on the road in front of the car, causing her to grab the wheel from Remy and send the car riverwards. But Remy insists that there was no one there. So only Miranda saw the mysterious woman in black. So we don't really know what's going on here. I don't know exactly what it's all about, but we're definitely going to have to see. It definitely is very interesting to see what's going to happen here. So Caleb meets this old man who works there, who quickly becomes, someone who is part of Ravenswood, allowing Caleb, who looks like, he looks like a little lost puppy at this point, to stay. And he offers Caleb half his tuna salad sandwich, and Caleb uses the old man's sandwich retrieving eggs as an opportunity to look through Miranda's personal effects. And there isn't much in there besides a phone and some coins, but the per usual Miranda thinks prompts a banging from a nearby freezer Miranda's body is currently being stored in. So he's basically just saying, oh, come on, I need to know some more details about my friend. They're not even telling me anything about it. But then, Miranda's uncle shows up to bring her body back to the funeral home, and he conveniently happens to run. So why is Caleb still in this town? That's what we want to know. Now that everyone who's going to die in tonight's episode has died, the gang, leaves their respective parental figures, but, Caleb doesn't have one of them. But then we see Mrs. Grunwald from Pretty Little Liars, and we get a very big scene that basically shows both, Pretty Little Liars and Ravenswood. She invites Caleb to stay at their home, and apparently Raymond is just an old marshmallow at heart because he invites Caleb back because Caleb is still suffering from temporary insanity. He agrees to return to the house that recently tried to kill him before departing from the hospital parking lot. However, Raymond stares longingly, and he ends up dreaming about Miranda, but it doesn't really feel like a dream. They're back in the car before it veered off the road. Miranda tells him to find her bag because there's something he will need in it. She also shows him the woman in black she saw in the middle of the road, but when Caleb wakes up, he is at Ray's, and Miss Grunwald's is hovering. They discuss mortality and macaroons. Caleb doesn't believe in an afterlife, and Mrs. G notes that, luckily, the afterlife doesn't care what he believes in. So basically, he's having this dream out here, doesn't know what's going on here, and he just can't really figure out why he just had this dream. Yeah, so that's basically what was going on. So he's having this less romantic eve. His night includes decidedly more spirit than Hanna's. In his guest room, a book of Walt Whitman's poetry flies from the table and onto the floor. Caleb reads the thoughtfully highlighted section of poetry, prompting the room to more or less freak out. Hairbrushes rattle, mirrors break, the ladder into an artistically formed circle, the broken glass around distraught Caleb. Still, he stays. Then he finally decides to call Hanna, but he tells her about 5% of what is actually going on. And by that we mean that he tells Hanna that Miranda's fine is currently at her uncle's, which is technically true. But we imagine Hanna is going to eventually discover the astonishingly large gaps in that little white lie, but not now. I mean, I definitely think they're setting it up where Hanna's going to come onto the show. There's going to be a point where Hanna comes onto the show, and she's going to stay there. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen in Pretty Little Liars, and that's what's going to happen on here. She's going to leave Pretty Little Liars and come on to Ravenswood, and then we're going to have to deal with this. it's going to be crazy. The other thing so then Caleb seeks Remy out at Ravenswood High School, hoping that he can retrieve Miranda's possessions from Remy's impounded car, and Remy agrees to bring him to the junkyard that night. When Luke finds out about this arrangement, he's not impressed. Good thing Remy does what she wants, and after school, she and Caleb hop the fence into a junkyard. Barely escaping a vicious guard dog, Caleb manages to trap inside of a van. Getting to this point, some people are saying that this show reminds them of the Final Destination movies. I could definitely see that because we've seen some of these characters have near-death experiences, but they haven't died. But they're having near-death experiences, and one by one, they're all going to get killed off. So, I mean, that's what it seems to happen here, and that's what this article says. It says, unfortunately, there seems to be a Final Destination force at work in Ravenswood. At the school, Luke is almost choked by his own barbell. Later in the junkyard, Remy gets trapped by her car window when she reaches inside to grab Miranda's bag. Caleb manages to save Remy from her car window, but the two are chased by a formidable guard dogs escape from the van with the help of a murderous spirit. Luke shows up in the nick of time to save Remy from the dog's fearsome bite and is not so impressed that the 2 times Caleb has hung out with his girlfriend, she has ended up nearly killed exactly 100% of the time. He grabs Remy and storms off in a huff of alpha maleness, basically. So, then we get to the biggest scene of the episode. Caleb finally has a chance to go through Miranda's bag, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to go through her bag and everything, and he finds this letter written to Miranda before she was born from her mother. And luckily, it was kept dry in a Ziploc bag. And he reads the final lines of the letter, and Miranda pops out of the woodwork. And this was a very long scene. I really like where they went with this. Caleb does an impressive job of, yet again, not right. And basically, she pops out of the letter, considering she is a ghost, and she says she's a ghost and everything. And she also says that she was an atheist before her death. And it also seems that she says something very interesting that has to do with another storyline that I'll get to. But basically we find out that this thing that she saw is out to get all of them, basically. That's how it ends. She says, this thing is out to get all of us, and it's eventually going to get all of us. So Caleb is now seeing Miranda as a ghost, and we don't know what's happened, but she brings up a very interesting point that corresponds to the next part, which is Remy. Now, Remy is starting to have these weird sleepwalking dreams. She's just, like, randomly sleepwalking, and we don't know why, but every time she sleepwalks, she almost gets killed. There was a time where she almost got hit by a car. She's sleepwalking, we don't know why. And I think this has to do with what Miranda said, which basically what Miranda said was that, she basically says how, well, basically what she says is that something in the lines of, dreams are not necessarily dreams. Maybe dreams are just visions. She tells Caleb that the dream he had was not a dream, was a vision. So I think that has to do with what's really going on with Remy, and I think that was definitely very interesting. Also, we have Olivia, Olivia and Luke had some very big things to have to do, that happened in this episode. First of all, Luke shows Olivia this letter that he found from their father to their mother. And it says their father is extremely vague about something both he and his wife are not acknowledging, and Luke assumes is an affair. Though he is keeping it quiet, he kind of believes his mother killed his father. So after all, she was the last one to see him that night in his office, and she can't remember what happened after she left. I could definitely see this being a possibility. It could definitely be happening, and I could definitely see why that's happening, basically. But basically, Olivia also had her best friend Tess arrange the homecoming queen photo shot Olivia didn't get to have the previous night. And Olivia isn't feeling very up to it. She's tired and smiling. It's as if everything is okay and tired of being the public face of her family. Tess convinces her to do it. She's using the much drawn upon strategy of fake it till you make it. That is until Olivia notices an uber-friendly text on Tess's phone from Springer, the guy who threw red paint on Olivia at the parade. Olivia confronts Tess about Tess, tells Olivia that she shouldn't be so selfish. Springer is a solid B+ in the boyfriend department, and after getting Olivia elected homecoming queen, Tess should be able to enjoy some of the spoils. Olivia gives her the crown from her head, claiming that it fits you better. Tess seems to agree. She has it on her head, admiring her reflection in a nearby window before Olivia has even turned the corner. So, then Olivia comes back home, following her mother's son to a trial. She confronts her mother about her father's death, and she totally she totally what she wants, that's totally what she wants to ask her about. But she chickens out, and instead she asked of her parents' marriage before his death. Basically she asked her two questions. A, were they going to get a divorce? And B, was her mother having an affair? And Rasha dodges, so that's her mother. She dodges both questions, and we start hatching theories about her passionate love affair with Raymond, and Olivia storms upstairs, skillfully avoiding a lurking Luke who was eavesdropping on their conversation from the stairwell. So yeah, that was basically the episode. It was a very big episode. I really love where this show is going. It's going down a very dark route. Let me know what you guys think of the show. With what Miranda said, do you think the whole thing with dreams is true? That she said, what's going to happen with that? Why is Remy just randomly sleepwalking? Why is this happening? And also, did Olivia and Luke's mother have an affair? Also, I think they're trying to get Caleb, Hanna, Miranda triangle. I could definitely see them setting it up. I saw them setting it up in Pretty Little Liars. I can still see them setting it up now. That's basically it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Also, who's going to be the next one to die? I have a feeling there's going to be another major death coming. That's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.